Then, as time went by, and as I told you, I specialized in internal medicine and then endocrinology, then two things were happening. I was becoming slowly aware that we were being trained to be superb technicians who knew everything about the human body, but lousy healers because we knew nothing about the human soul or the spirit. As I mentioned to you, healing is holy. It's the experience of wholeness. Also, because my training in neuroendocrinology, I was beginning to see that there's a direct correlation between what happens in our consciousness and what happens in our biology. Wherever a thought or a molecule goes, a thought or an emotion goes, a molecule follows. These brain chemicals were called neuropeptides, and we started to see that these neuropeptides acted on the immune system, on the stomach walls and heart cells. We also discovered that these same molecules of emotion were secreted by other parts of our body. So the stomach cells made the same peptides. Your heart cells, 65% of your heart cells are neurocardiocytes, which means while the heart pumps blood, it also secretes the molecules of emotion. So for us, this was, for those of us who were interested in this field, this was very exciting. It was very interesting that we could look at consciousness and what it did in the body. And for the first time, it was also apparent to us that consciousness was not in the brain, that it was in all the cells of our body, and our whole body was actually a field of consciousness. And at this time, I started to look at wisdom traditions, because first of all, what I was doing myself in my research. Secondly, any physician will tell you that you can have two patients who have exactly the same illness. They see the same doctor, they get more or less the same treatment, and they have completely different outcomes. So one person can recover, another person can die, and they apparently had the same treatment. So there was something missing. And it is at this point that through a series of synchronicities, I met a great sage. His name was Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, who recently took Mahasamadhi, recently left his body at the age of 91. And Maharishi said to me, he said, you know, you should drop everything you're doing and come with me and study Ayurveda. I will introduce you to some of the greatest Ayurvedic teachers in the world. Now, of course, I was doing research. I was teaching at Boston University Medical School. I was teaching at Harvard. I was seeing patients. And suddenly, to have him say, drop everything and come and be with me and I'll teach you Ayurveda. It sounded very exciting, but I was concerned. In fact, my wife looked at Maharishi and she said, so Maharishi, where's the mortgage going to be paid from? Where's the money going to come from? And I've never forgotten this, and I hope you'll never forget this. Maharishi said, if you do the right thing, the money will come from wherever it is at the moment. So don't forget that, please. Affluence, abundance, infinity, these are the nature of our spirit. And if we can get in touch with that part of ourselves, which is the part of ourselves which has infinite creativity, that has infinite knowledge, that's the tradition from where Ayurveda also comes. The word Ayurveda means science of life. It is to understand that we are microcosms of the intelligence of the universe. That the intelligence and the consciousness that is behind our thoughts, the consciousness that is behind our thoughts is the consciousness and the intelligence behind all the activity of this very intelligent universe. There's a phrase in Sanskrit, yatha pinde tatha brahmande. As is the atom, so is the universe. As is the microcosm, so is the macrocosm. As is the human body, so is the cosmic body. As is the human mind, so is the cosmic mind. So yes, I dropped everything. And I went to Maharishi and said, so teach me, introduce me to the great scholars of this great wisdom tradition. And after that, I have to say, it was totally effortless, and it was an example of what can only be called effortless spontaneity. And now that you're taking on this new, some of you, in fact all of you, are taking on more or less a new career, where you're not only just telling people about ZRII, you're doing much more than that. You are going to be agents of change, agents of a shift in our collective consciousness. I think you should realize that when you do something which in India we call is in our dharma, when our consciousness is aligned with the infinite consciousness that orchestrates all the activity of the universe, then it has to be totally effortless, spontaneous. Effortless spontaneity. Every day ask yourself just 3 questions. Is it easy? Is it fun? Am I getting results? And if you can say yes to all those 3 questions, then you're doing the right thing. In any case, this was a long story, over many, many years. But the first thing that Ayurveda taught me and teaches is that the human body is not a structure. It is not an anatomical structure. That the human body is a process. And it is the process of the whole universe. In every moment of your life, you're participating with all the elements and forces of the total universe. Even as you take one breath, you breathe in 10 to the power of 20 atoms from the physical universe. So all this material, 10 followed by 22 zeros, comes from everywhere in the universe. It ends up as your heart cells and brain cells and kidney cells. With every breath that you breathe out 10 to the power of 22 atoms that have their origin in every cell of your body. So at the atomic level, you're literally breathing out bits and pieces of your heart and kidney and brain tissue. And technically speaking, we are all intimately sharing our organs with each other all the time. The great American poet Walt Whitman said, every atom that belongs to you as well belongs to me. This is not a metaphor of poetry. This is a fact of biology. Today we can do radioactive isotope studies and do a little mathematics and prove without a shadow of doubt that right this moment you have in your physical body at least 1 million atoms that were once in the body of Christ, or Buddha, or Michelangelo, or anyone else you care to think about.